And these are the guys, they'll turn around to people like us and say, you're a dreamer. In ancient times, you called somebody a dreamer, you were congratulating them. Because dreaming was recognized as a valid way of knowing. But in our society, dreaming is despised because we're all supposed to be like this all the time in our alert, problem-solving state of consciousness. And of course, there's many horrendous downsides like this. I mean, look, we live in a state of total panic and chaos all the time. Prices are going up, prices are going down, foreclosure, disaster, everything. This system doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's being imposed upon us, it's controlling us, and it just doesn't work. Thank you. If it worked, if the system worked, we'd never see this horror. If the system worked, this wouldn't be happening to the Amazon. The lungs of our planet, this sacred realm, this jungle, this endless jungle, which is being cut down at country-sized rates every year. Burnt, and then they plant what? Soybean farms to feed cattle, so that we can eat hamburgers. What an incredibly bad deal that is for us, for the planet, for the Amazon, for the universe, for everything. What a huge mistake. Why is it happening? There's huge economic pressures in the Amazon countries. And those pressures lead the poor to move out of the cities and seek settlements in the countryside. Of course, massive financial interests are involved as well, but a lot of it is resettlement. They're desperately hungry. They want to grow. They want to plant fields and get some kind of income, so they go and burn down the Amazon. Look, this happened in the Amazon in 2005. It actually ran dry, Actually ran dry. And the devastation is appalling to see. It's just appalling. And we seem unable to act on this in any way. Fundamentally, it's an economic problem. I did a back-of-an-envelope calculation during the war in Iraq, and I figured the 6 months' expenditure in the war of Iraq would solve the problem of the Amazon forever. Because that problem is simply an economic one. We could simply, with our ample resources, easily meet the needs of the people of that region in return for keeping this beautiful garden for the earth. But we don't. We don't do that. We can mobilize funds by the trillion for war and devastation and destruction. But to save a sacred realm, which also happens to be the lungs of our planet, we can't do that. The archons are at work. And of course, our society is very angry about drugs, but it does actually support lots of drugs. Like alcohol, for example, one of the most boring drugs on the planet. Definitely not a consciousness-raising drug. It can be, has its function, but it's got nothing to do with raising consciousness. I would say rather lowering it. And of course, there's all those prescription drugs, those antidepressants and those Ritalins and all those consciousness-altering drugs that are, figure out what they're doing. They're controlling consciousness in this way. And then there's the media, the media, the reality TV. I mean, bombarding our brains, turning our children's brains to mush. This is what's happening to consciousness in our society today. And actually, anybody who tries to explore other forms, other states of consciousness is despised and hated in our society. And that's why we've become a species with amnesia. We're lulled into forgetfulness of our true purpose here. So, taking the theme of this conference, far from awake and aware, the controlling powers of our society want us asleep and oblivious.